Hello and welcome to the sixth edition of Why Are You Perambulating? We are your hosts here again to tell you things that you already know, but you never think about. And listen, to all of you who've been watching and listening, thank you.
Big thank you.
Thank you. Hey,
Thanks for the feedback.
Thanks for the feedback. Please try and feedback on
the channel.
on the channel rather than
like text,
private messages and
it's nice.
DMs and stuff. It's nice, but copy and paste. All right. Okay, dokes. Today we are going to be talking about something very close to my heart, which affects me, my mental health.
Stop being silly. It's not fair.
It's called periods. Let me just give you a little history. In Africa, in the old days, when a woman is on her period, in like the Akan culture, for example, in Ghana, the woman is put in a separate house. She's not even allowed to cook the food.
She's allowed to rest.
She's given. She's not treated like it's not a pariah type of thing. She's put there to deal with her issues. Somebody brings her food, checks on her, see if she's okay. But she's not supposed to take over her responsibilities whilst she's on her period. Now, in the modern day, modern computers. In modern day, periods don't last a regular number of days.
Why?
They last the whole month.
They do not last the whole month.
So some of us deal with it for, it's just a rolling period, He
doesn't understand that it's something that happens
I'm going to give you a
month.
chance to talk. I'm just setting the what do you call it?
Go on.
So we felt it was only right to give our own appraisal.
Say our or yours.
Our own appraisal of how we deal with periods.
How do we... or don't deal with them.
Maybe.
Sorry.
Please talk to us. It's all yours. In fact, I'm going to go here. Your diary. This is the diary of Lazy. Do you ever used to watch MTV? Diary of... you didn't have TV, did you? Okay. Go on, talk. Baby, it's all yours. So I'm not even saying anything.
Even though we've been together however long, more like 10 years now? 11 years.
Actually, coming up to 11 years.
He still doesn't understand that this is a rolling, it's rolling, it's ongoing. Yes.
Absolument.
It's ongoing.
Absolument. C'est vrai.
By the way, this wasn't what we were going to talk about today, but we switched topics because
our red blood cells came about.
And it's, you know what? It's, how can I explain it? It's so...
I'm not involved. I'm not involved.
He doesn't get it. That it's a rolling contract. It's not like you pay off your phone.
I get that. That's what I said.
It's rolling. It's gift gaff, babe. It's and you can't even opt out of the contract. It's rolling.
It's rolling.
Unless you're pregnant. Yeah. And then that's another contract.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Absolutely. In fact, now I pray for pregnancies.
Because every time I come on, it's like, again? I'm like...
Because you see, for me, the period, there's the two types of period. There's the one where don't try and put anything inside me. And then there's the one where I'll kill you. Both of them run concurrently. Sometimes they overlap, but generally... See the episode where we're talking of Lady Cop 24/7, it's impossible. So we are dealing with the blood, dealing with the brain, dealing with the egg. By the time you fry everything, it's disgusting. You can't do anything. So
shut the
for us,
listen.
period is period. Period. Full stop.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
But
Carry on,
it's
baby.
not fair. Like, I don't even know.
Okay, why don't you explain?
I can't even speak.
Why don't you explain what goes through your mind?
I don't. Do you know what? It's a genuinely.
Mm-hmm.
Can anyone else relate? He thinks that, oh, you should just know it's your period. So, just know how to act and know how to deal with it. And it's like, but I walk into a room. He said, oh, I was ignoring him all day. And I'm like, I thought I was just being normal. Oh, but I asked you a question and you just ignored me. I was like, to me, in my head, what happened was I just walked in a room and out again. In his head, he asked me a question. I ignored him.
Mm-hmm. It's like Ghost Dad. You remember Ghost Dad? There was a scene where he had the suit, hat, everything.
Yes,
and he had to be in a dark room. He walks in. It's like he doesn't know that nobody can't see him. He doesn't know that.
Thank you, Mr. Hopper.
Oh, no problem. No problem. Thank you.
He said to me, you should know it's your period. Just don't, you don't have to make me pay for it. I'm like, but in my head, all that's happening is I'm just behaving normally. But apparently, I'm just this person that's unbearable to be around.
So there are two different things that are happening clearly.
What?
There's how you see it.
Of course.
And there's how the world sees it.
How the world. Who else is there to tell us? Who else?
Because you know you're on your period.
Yeah.
The world doesn't know you're on your period.
But it's
But so when you're on your period, unfortunately, you don't realize that your physical appearance has changed on the outside.
like a gremlin.
So what used to be, I wasn't gonna say that, but very good analogy. It's like the Red Skull in Captain America. I don't know if you saw old Captain America, the old one. They had this the Red Skull had this hideous mask, and before he was the Red Skull, he looked normal. It's like, somebody put the Red Skull mask on you. You wake up, you think everything's normal. You walk in, everybody's looking at you like this, and you're like, "What's wrong with you guys?"
What's wrong with you?
And it's like all the mirrors have broken. Every time you go look in the mirror, it breaks. So you're like, you can't even like, what's wrong with these people? That's what.
That's how I feel, though. I
know.
genuinely feel like I'm okay.
Mhm.
And then, literally before we filmed this, apparently I had a face on me, so he told me off, and I genuinely felt like crying. I actually felt like crying. I was like, I don't know what I've done. So I feel like I had a nap because I was feeling sorry for myself.
Another symptom of periods. The naps don't stop.
Yeah, but babe, these are things that happen to us. It's not
No, I know.
fault. It's nature.
But no, I'm not blaming you for the periods. I'm not blaming you for
I
nature.
almost slapped you there. That was the fly.
I'm not blaming you for the periods. Where I do say you need to take a little bit more responsibilities when you know, because you can know I'm on my period, you should be able to at least.
It's easier said than done.
Distance,
Do you know what?
communicate
We need any scientists out there that have some sort of experiment.
You need a period rota.
No period rota. Let's put the call out there.
Okay.
Scientists,
Fine.
anybody out there who can make a pill or some experiment to give it to our husbands. Not even asking for a year, just a month.
So we're the ones
of the
that need
menstrual
the pill.
You need.
I don't need. No.
I want you to experience.
But
so then
you
you
cannot
know
say,
it's coming. So you just know. So you need to know how to be.
No.
It's easier said than done.
What I'm saying is, the day you recognize I have my period, all I'm saying is there's a.
You don't. But the thing is, you don't.
But today you said it. You said you always tell me that you're on your period.
But, I think I've become more aware of when things are happening, like from ovulation, because they're all different. It's not just blood. That's it. Ovulation. There are symptoms with that. than the actual period itself. There are symptoms of that. So I've become a lot more aware of that since I've been doing the natural rhythm tracking with the lady comp. But even with that, yes, you can have a bit of an understanding of when things are going to happen, but it's not always easy to like see your own face, if that makes sense. Like,
No, I get
or
it.
like, oh, I'm on my period. I feel like
understand.
crap, but I'm gonna walk around like this because I'm
No,
gonna try and be.
I'm
I'm
not.
gonna try and be so.
No, that's not. I don't see. I don't even
it's
think that that's
really-
physically. I don't even think that's fair.
It's
That's not what I'm saying.
because it's internal. It's like, okay,
I get it.
and it's
understand.
hard because I'm trying so hard to think. All right, I'm on now. I'm trying to think about my emotions and then how also how I'm treating everybody else. But it sometimes for me, if you like today, you said that I walked out. I probably did that to just ignore, or not ignore. Sorry, avoid like any sort of conflict. I probably just walked out thinking, okay, I feel like this. Let me just walk. Now I'm putting two and two. Hindsight is always 2020. I walk away from the conflict because I'm like, if there was a potential conflict.
Whereas when you're not on your period, you walk to the conflict.
Basically,
that's
yeah.
right. So
Pum,
this is where I'm. This is what I'm saying. I don't think it's even fair.
There wasn't a conflict. It's just I
It's
just
not
clearly I blocked you out because I was clearly focused on something
now
else.
I see how I see what you're saying, and I understand it from your point of view now. That's what you're doing because it's not like you
But
to
the
walk
thing
away.
is, I just genuinely didn't even
I get it.
know when you
But
said anything.
all I'm saying is this: it's not. First of all, it's not fair for you to have to explain yourself per se. It's not fair. What I think should happen going forward is because a man doesn't have anything like a period. If he's in a bad mood, it's his fault. If he's in a good mood, it's his wife's fault. You know, the point is, we don't have anything like that. I don't know. That's just how life works out. I read this quote from Barack Obama. He's like, when me and my wife have a row, if it's my fault, I apologize. If it's her fault, I apologize. Something like that. So it's for men, we don't have anything that we can blame that's biological for our moods. We have to just deal with it. And women, of course, carry a bigger burden because they carry children.
Uh-oh. Who's coming?
Zuba, you have to go back to bed, sweetheart.
Yeah.
So, sorry about that interruption. We had a frequent flyer come in. Anyway, so what I was saying was the men don't have any kind of thing that we can attribute to our frustrations or irritations. It's just our fault. So it's very hard for us to try and even understand what you're going through. But we all get it. Especially when you live with a woman long enough, you get that. Look, this is... there's nothing you can do about this thing. The question for us is there a balance? Is there a way we can... Because it's one thing to be aware of the process beginning. It's another thing to be aware of what you're doing and how you react. Because even me, sometimes I do stuff I don't even realize is what I'm doing. But if I knew why I was doing it, if I at least knew why I was doing it, then maybe, I guess it makes it easier to apologize about certain things and so on. What I'm saying is, what would be ideal for me is, especially once you recognize, either when the flow comes or when the trigger tells you this is period time, there should be, even if it's not a conversation, say, just so you know, we've started. Then the onus is on me to be a little bit less sensitive and more responsibility, even take on more responsibility so that you're less concerned with the day-to-day trying to make everybody happy. You understand? Because you have 3 men in this house. You understand? And over the years, it's going to be you and our daughter going through this, and we're all going to have to understand. And I think in the interest of, and to be honest, I actually think marriages and relationships break up because of periods at times, because there's not enough communication going on. And if that happens 2-3 weeks, 4 weeks later, it happens again or whatever, it can cause everybody to be like, we're not even on the same page and think that the relationship is actually worse than it is.
But
Go on.
even before the actual flow comes,
Yeah.
there is a time where you're just like, oh my God. For me, how I deal with it, I just go into myself. I just become a bit more withdrawn. And because you're so used to me being, you know, chatty and bubbly, it's sometimes I think you perceive it as, oh my gosh, is there something wrong? And I'm like, no, I'm just trying to control.
You know, see, I don't think you're actually always chatty. I think your character
Yeah,
can
but
be
I'm
chatty.
bubbly most of the time. But when I'm like on or coming on, I'm definitely more subdued hormonally. And sometimes you perceive that as me being in a mood, or I'm like, and you will ask me because obviously you care. So are you okay? And I'm usually it's like, oh, I'm fine. But most women,
How annoyed do you get when I ask you, are you okay more than once? How annoyed do you get?
it's frustrating because
How
I
do you
don't like,
get?
you know, I don't like repeating myself. But I know it's because you care. I know, but for some women, that I'm fine they're not really fine.
Of course not.
So it's good to check. But genuinely, because over time I've gotten better at communicating, because you're so, you know, you're good at probing, and you know, so I would be like, yeah, I'm fine. But if I'm not, I'll tell you, babe, this is what it is, blah 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 blah. But genuinely, if I say I'm fine, I am. I think I am anyway.
I'm fine. I'm fine.
I'm fine.
So you know, so that's something which, if there was a way we could monitor, because
We do
a lot
though,
of
with the lady
no.
I do.
Yeah.
I monitor it, but
No,
it's,
no,
it's
I mean,
still...
okay, sorry, let me rephrase. If there was a way we could both recognize the change in responsibilities during that
Changing
period. No, because it's true. It's true. You know, like you go into your shell a little bit more. Like,
Yeah,
I think
Yeah.
to be honest with you, I think me and the kids are very understanding of your space generally.
Yeah, you are.
I think we generally give you the space when you need it, whether it's period or comma. So the question is, okay, when you recognize that you're on your period, for the sake of the 3 men in your house, one who is a man before he should be, I think maybe there's a way you can be like, okay, you know what? Let me inform them, particularly the men, because I think our daughter is going to eventually have the same period.
But check this.
Time as you.
It's good you brought that up. Literally the week after I had Nini, I was like, there's something very... Like, this is a girl.
By the way.
This is a girl that didn't cry, literally. She wanted milk. She would just be like, she would do kisses. And the boob was there. A week after, I was like, this girl's acting differently. I was like, is everything okay? Not knowing that my period was about to come. My first child, my period did not come back for like almost 2 years. I was breastfeeding him. Second child, some people don't know this. When you're breastfeeding, some people don't have periods. But for my second child, I think maybe it took like 6 months. Oh no, 3 months, period came. My third child, by the next week, Seth, I was ready to have another baby. Imagine. So I was like, wow, isn't that fascinating how God makes us? This baby, and if you know a bit about periods, you'll know that if like 2 women spend enough time together, they don't even have to be related. They spend enough time together, like colleagues, sisters, their period cycles are matched. So I was thinking, maybe, oh my goodness, this is the only other woman in the house. I know obviously she's not having periods yet, but she's sensitive to my hormones because she was like started acting erratically. She wasn't ill, but around that time, I didn't know I was ovulating because I just had a baby. I didn't even think I was going to ovulate a week or 2 later. So literally a few days later when I came on my period, I was like, oh my gosh, how fascinating. We are already matched. And I said, of course, we're matched. She came from me. So I started asking other women who had girls. I'm like, gosh, have you noticed that the two of you are, like whenever you're coming on your period, you notice that your daughter's a bit different. And I got a resounding no from each one of them. They're like, my God, I've never thought about it. I thought, wow, am I just an overthinker? But ever since I've said that, I've spoken to all those women I spoke to in the first place, I'm like, wow, it's so interesting. They realize that when they're on their period, their daughter is very different around them and with them. And today, did you notice she had that massive panic attack? Not panic attack, or just tantrum. This girl doesn't have tantrums, but she had a tantrum
She has
about
them sometimes. So.
But then that's because around the time I'm on, very rarely, very rarely she has tantrums. And I've noticed it when the ovulating time, she's always very clingy with me. And then today, like my period was late. So I was like, when is this thing gonna come?
We were all hoping it would come, by the way.
And then today, she just was so pissed off about something on the iPad. And she couldn't get over it. She's like, I just want to.
But also, she doesn't go to bed when she usually does during her period. She tries to stay up later.
But listen, that's just, even at the park, we went to the park today, she was adamant. She wanted to go on one
She told me
thing.
about it.
She told you about it?
She told me when I was upset.
Because she had boots. She decided she wanted to wear these...
So it was slippery. That's what she said, yeah.
Oh, baby, she told you. She came home and told Daddy. She
Daddy.
badly wanted to go on this thing and it frustrated the hell out of her. And I'm like, yeah, my period's coming. So if you ever need an indicator, if you have a little girl, notice your child's, how she is around you at certain times of the month, and you'll see a correlation between when you're ovulating, when you're all these. It's so amazing. Like I find it fascinating. I'm a bit odd like that. I find it incredible that these little bodies are already functioning fully, like sexually functioning at such a young age. And I just think, man, God made us so beautifully. But yeah, I use that actually to teach the boys. I'm like, listen, like I don't just teach Nini that about, periods. This is what's going to happen to your body. I actually show them, like, look, this is what mummy goes through at this time of the month. I am using obviously the menstrual cup. I don't use tampons or anything like that. So I show them, look, mummy has blood at a certain time of the month. This is why. And they've actually like surprised. At first, when I first showed it to them, like, mommy has blood. Remember they called you, Daddy, mummy's bleeding. But I think it's so important that the boys understand because, like you said, like for you, you're learning from me, like, and it's a shock every month. It's like, oh my gosh, this woman is going through this again. So I'm hoping somehow that me being so open with the boys, that they're able to not only understand from a very early age not just the physical things that happen, but also the sensitivities that come along with it, the emotional sides of it. And it's tough, man. I wish there was a magic button that I could just press and be like, okay, this is about to happen. Bing.
No, but this and this is all I think, because the only responsibility we can give you is to, especially since you have an indicator, something that tells you that it's about to come. I think at that point, the only responsibility you have is to let us know, because I think in going forward, it will save so much more misunderstanding. Because once it starts, and you haven't communicated that with us that we're about, because we don't like monitor your cycle.
Right.
So once it starts, if you say it to us that, look, it's about to start, whether you feel the frustrations or not, then we can at least adjust ourselves and be less expectant of like being treated like we matter,
But of course you matter. But what I'm saying is the flow itself, and when I say the flow, I mean the blood part. That's the end of the cycle. But so like
so
that's the end of
so
the
right now.
yeah.
Right now.
So this is the end of the cycle.
Okay.
So the parts
you
where
get the frustration at the end.
No, you get the frustrations even before.
Okay.
There's the like
because
before.
I didn't notice you've been cool up until.
But there are days where you get like where like even like was it a couple of days ago I was like, oh, I feel like it's coming today, and nothing came. But I felt you saw that I was like a bit kind of withdrawn, and you even asked me, is everything okay? I'm like, yeah, I think my period is coming. So it's not just so it's. I wish there was a way that even with all the indicators, it's tough. But I mean I know what you mean, and
I think going forward it's possible too, because you cannot be.
It's very especially after having kids, babe. It's not that straightforward.
But you see, like just the because for like recently you didn't know it was coming. You were like, oh, it's late. We bought pregnancy tests, everything. Everything seemed normal. We just thought, okay, maybe number 4. Instead, the thing came. And the minute it arrived, I think if a conversation was had, right? Even if it's so simple, listen.
But I did tell you though.
No.
I said,
really.
I did. I was like, oh, babe, it's my favorite period comes. You're like, oh yeah, good. But by then you already said
yeah. But then that's mid. I'm saying before.
But I did. How was I? I didn't know that I was acting funny before, because I didn't know that was.
No. But before,
but my period actually came after you said I walked away from you. It came when I was already upstairs. So I didn't know it was coming.
But you see, this is where it becomes very tricky, because then issues can happen, disagreements can happen, and then it's like you've relinquished all responsibility to us for the way we behave.
But this is
instead of saying, okay, I've recognized I'm on my period. I haven't told them. Let me now tell them. So and just because you're still a human being.
But when I told you, that's when you were like, oh, it can't be always my fault.
But the argument cannot begin, and then you say it in the midst of the argument. As human beings, the dynamic of human beings, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's not mid car accident. You say, oh, I didn't put my seatbelt on.
I honestly, babe, I wish it was.
No. But we're trying to find a solution. What I'm trying to say is this: the period was late. Even if it's a situation where we're like, okay, it usually comes on these dates. Even if it hasn't come, give us notice. Put the letter on the door so we're aware. You understand? Because we are not, it's too much for us to keep track of your calendar. If that happens, then at least we're like, let's back off. Because at any minute now, she could be on the period, and then we will have to, and then the damage control is less damaging. Because I think if you want to have your periods for a long time used to come on the same, I think, around the same time of the month, right? If that is the case, even if it hasn't come, I'm just saying, because you cannot tell a person who thinks one-dimensionally, in a way, when it comes to this sort of thing, a species of people that thinks one-dimensionally, that they should, that there's no way to solve this thing. Because your thing, you have the emotional part and then you have the physical part. For us, it's just, okay, so why are we getting told off? You understand? We're trying to avoid you being frustrated and us being frustrated. There has to be a way we can communicate this. Even if it's just, this is my period, this is the time usually I expect this thing. Can you just say, just let us know, this is the time it should be here. Okay, so like even for example, no. For the last week, you just bought a pregnancy test yesterday.
Yeah, but I've been saying
because it hadn't come.
I know.
What I'm saying is going forward. You see, there's no point talking about past. I'm talking about let's going forward.
Okay.
When you recognize that this is the day that this thing should be coming, you say, okay, it should be here. And in a way, the other day when you're like, it should be coming, I think if we have had this kind of conversation now, before then, I would have said, okay, you know what? Back up. You understand? But because we hadn't had that conversation, it's like, okay, when it did finally come, I thought, okay, okay, why didn't you tell me? You know, because we've been waiting for this thing to come. So I think that's where the education for both sides, because we don't know about it, you know about it, but you also need to know how we think too, in order for us to all move forward together. Because it's a family issue. It's not an issue, rather, but this is a family thing that everybody has to deal with. Think about it. This is something we all have to deal with. So we either all find a solution, or we all blame each other for who's at fault. You understand? So all I'm saying is, if there's a way we could say, okay, you know what? Because even if it hasn't come, if we know the period that it's going to begin, then we say to ourselves, okay, me and the boys back up. Just chill, give mommy her space. Because it's interesting. You know, you do your, like, you try and get your personal time in the morning, generally. You know, whether you work out or whatever. And in that time, you're really on your own. So sometimes we don't even know your motivation for it. Is it that you just feel like working out? Is it a routine, or are you on your period and you need some distance? So some days it's very confusing to know which it is. And because we don't know which it is, we just assume this is a normal day. You understand? So just in the interest of going forward, I think that's the solution. What do you think?
I can only say I'll do my best to know.
No, it's not no. It's just
It is no.
Even if it's
Because
not, even if it hasn't happened, because your
I'm saying,
cycle
I'm
happens around the
saying
same time, right?
It does, but
Okay.
the cycle is not just the period. The blood part is the end of it.
No, I know.
So
The blood part is whichever part it is. We're talking about the part that causes friction.
Yes, and it can be at any. Sometimes
So
it can be the ovulation that does.
Fine.
It's not always.
So it's possible it could
wish-
last a month.
No, but I'm saying it's possible that it can come at any point in that cycle. It's not always when the blood is coming, or I wish this is an open discussion.
No, but it's good.
You know,
it's good because
like,
I know we're not the only
it's-
ones that have this issue.
It's tough. It makes me sad because it's like, you know, I like being happy. I like being jovial and fun, and I don't like to make bad energy. That's why I just like, if I feel a certain way, I'll just like try and get out of the room as quickly as possible to just, you know. So me doing that, you saw it as me completely ignoring you. Whereas in my head, I'm like, and I feel this way, I'm just gonna. Sorry.
My baby. Oh, my baby. Hey. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Okay. You okay? You okay? You okay? It's okay. It's okay, baby.
Eve.
What do you call it?
Eve.
Eve.
That's what it said, right? That's where the periods
No.
came
Please
from.
don't bring that up, please.
No, I'm just being
Not
silly.
Eve.
It's just, I just wish it was that simple. But it really isn't. It's not.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if I ignored you. I genuinely didn't
No,
know.
don't.
No.
It's okay.
Here we go. The second. That's good.
Oops.
Welcome to the world of being a female. It's so random.
Please don't welcome me. I'm female.
It's so random. But it's genuinely like, it's a lot. It's a roller coaster. You just genuinely, you don't even know. Just emotions are like coming at you. 1 minute you're fine, 1 minute you're. It's so weird, babe. Honestly, I genuinely wish there was an experiment.
But why? No, we
Just
don't.
so that because it's the only, probably the only time in the month where we argue, and it's like, God, like, I just wish that there was a way I could show you exactly, because even me, I can't explain it, you know. But anyway, that was fun.
Imagine I married 2 wives and you both died at the same time. Bloody hell, but
That's what you're thinking in your head. You're still thinking about this, your second wife.
I was like, would that fix it? Swap them up. Over. She'll probably end up with the same cycle.
We'll be in the same cycle.
They'll both be like this and the dinner table like this. I was like, so who cooked my food? I'm just push my food away. I'm like, I'm not eating this shit. I am not going to try it.
It's poison. Poison in your
Spat
food.
in my food. Spat on fire in this food. Hey! He's got dinosaur spit.
You still want
food.
it. You still want a second wife.
Yeah, well, that's why I keep you guys in 2 different countries. I keep one in the village.
It's nice to dream, right, babe?
My sister. All right, so conclusion. No conclusion.
There's no conclusion.
I just have to deal with it. She just has to. So
And we'll get older, and there'll come a time. Oh my gosh, when menopause
they'll
comes,
stop. Yeah,
they'll stop, but then it'll be menopause.
like,
I said menopause. Menopause. That's why we'll have separate chambers.
Oh my Lord, I can't wait for that. But you see, by that point, I'll be a little bit older.
Yeah.
You know, you'll be older. I mean, we're not talking that long, that long actually, but
yeah, menopause comes what, like, well, some people have early onset of menopause, but whatever it is, we'll rock with it, right? You know, it's a glow. It's a glow. It's not sweat. It's glow. It's not. You know, what did it? Yeah.
So at some stage around the age of 50, 51,
50.
will be cool. And then I'll have my midlife crisis, buy a Ferrari.
I'll have a second husband.
And then which second husband? Nah.
Because the sex drive goes up, right?
Yeah, and
For women,
the men's one
yours will
starts
go down.
declining. I already feel it declining.
Shut
Especially
up,
with this
do not.
conversation. So in conclusion, period is period.
It's period.
Comma is comma.
Period.
Comma can never be period. So we have concluded that if you're dealing with a period, deal with it. There is no
Just
solution.
communicate as much as you possibly can with each other and your children, because they feel it too. I'll just say quickly. I remember when I first discovered. My periods start like, I'll tell you, when I first knew that periods were a thing, I found, like, I was like told, never open those things that are in the bin. And of course, me being me and curious, I'm like,
I know.
you know. So I went and opened it. traumatized. It's clearly it was a sanitary towel. And it's my mother's, and like I was so traumatized, like, what is this? Cut to a week later being in class.
How old do you know?
I was 9, and we did like a very touched on periods, very, very like minutely. They just talked about it, very like skimmed over it.
Mm-hmm.
Then a week after that, I was having a swimming. I used to compete as a swimmer, and I'm like, Mom, I think I've started my period. She's like, what? And by the way, we had never had a conversation. She had never spoken to me about this. I have 2 sisters and a mother who was a midwife. Bless her heart. But I'd never had a conversation with any of my sisters. And my mum, like, I didn't know what it was. It's like, Mum, I have blood. I was like, I think it's this thing that we've been told about in school called periods. And she was like, yeah. And I had a swimming competition that day. So imagine that's my period story. My mum, bless her, had to go and get a tampon, you know, the ones you stick up the woman, which my God, stay clear of those. Anyway, I'm 9. To a 9-year-old, that feels like the biggest penis known to man. Like I had this, and this is a 9-year-old in the very early 90s where tampons were thick.
Oh yeah?
Yes. So imagine my mum is there. I had to lay down. It was horrible. Like I just remember feeling so confused. And bless my mum, like, you know, this is how she was, you know, having to deal with my first period. Like we'd never spoken about it. And it's like, I'm doing this big swimming competition. Of course, I came last in everything.
Oh,
of
really?
course, yeah, I was walking like a cowboy because I had this penis penis-like thing inside of me. I never knew what it was. I was like, what is this that I'm going to have to put inside? It was horrible. And again, oh God, I'm about to start crying again. And it's not my mom's fault, but like, it's not something, you know, so African mothers or just mothers in general, I just urge you to be open with your kids, boys too, not just girls. Like be open with them. Like don't hide stuff, because at the end of the day, it's science. It you don't have to overcomplicate and be like, oh, it's sexual. It's science. Yeah. You are teaching these children a topic. So my boys, they understand. They see mommy. Oh, I'll take out my menstrual cup and be like, look, son, this is what happens to mommy every single month. Mm-hmm. And when you get with your partner, she'll have the same thing, and this is why. Mm. And I literally do that every single month. A constant reminder that this is something that their sister's going to go through, something that they're going to have to be sensitive towards when she goes through that. She's going to need her privacy. And, you know, I'm not saying I'm perfect and we're doing everything right, but I'm so conscious of these things because those things that my mom did lovingly, didn't realize it was traumatic. Because, wow, like just it's still to this day, I'm just like, my God, she had to go through that. A 9-year-old starting their period already for her probably was traumatic. So she's thinking, oh yeah, she'll have that conversation maybe in 3-4 years. No, babes. Some girls start as early as 7-8 years old. I was 9. So start early, start talking to them early about these things, start introducing them to the idea of reproduction early. It's a science. Take it out of your mind as sex and all these like fancy things and imagery of dirty. Even the fact when people say, oh, we're dirty. No, it's not dirty. It's nature. It's God given. So when you switch the narrative, it becomes, you know, it just becomes...
It becomes positive.
It's and like it should be positive.
You have to go through negative. Because, you know, for sacrifice, you know, even if you look at like Bible or whatever, right? Sacrifice, whenever something is sacrificed, for you to eat a burger, something is sacrificed, blood is shed. So it's for your nourishment, if you will, you know, even though, I mean, whatever, we won't talk about that. But and that's the important thing, because communication, if you, like, I was in biology class and I remember hearing that periods for girls start at 9, puberty for boys starts at 13. This is what I knew. I had no idea. I just knew about an egg. But the practicalities you don't know. in your case, imagine you had that conversation a few years earlier. You could have won that swimming race.
Yeah.
Imagine how different your life would have been because you would have had a different experience of something.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, aside from boys being informed about it and men, your husbands being informed about it, it's also important that when you, I think, and in part, this is down to the fact that, you know, the religion part, the biblical part, the Old Testament talking about women being punished, you know, I think, yeah. So
Really?
the pain of childbirth is as a result of
Oh,
punishment.
yeah, and even
And the
periods
period is
too.
as a byproduct of is part of the punishment.
Which is
Which
scary.
Well, regardless of what you believe,
It's not punishment.
this is if you look at it as a punishment, it's going to affect you because this is going to live with you for the rest of your, you know, until your middle ages, your mid, you know, it's going to live with you for a long part. So if you look at it as that biblical terminology describes it, then it's going to be psychologically messed up for you and everybody around you. Whereas if you embrace it and say, okay, forget that, regardless of what you believe, by the way, if you say, forget that, this is something I have to deal with. What does it actually mean? It means I can prepare my body to give children. I can prepare to give life. If you look at it that way, then it's less of a negative thing. And also, if you love your woman, and this is for the guys, if you love your woman, you have to deal with it. You can't just say she's acting like a bitch, she's this, she's that. The truth is, this is something she's always going to have to deal with, at least in the first part of her life, the first half of her life. So embrace it. You know?
True. And let me say one last thing. I just find the human body fascinating, how God created us. And I remember being pregnant for our first. We were like thinking, oh my gosh, are we gonna have a girl? And I was doing all this. I was reading.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I didn't read much. I tried to stay away from reading too much. But an alert popped up, and I think it was on your phone because you had that alert telling you where what at what week was happening with the fetus. And I just happened to see his phone, and it said we were 20 weeks, and it said if you are having a girl at this point,
that's it.
She will have
all the
eggs she's going to need in her lifetime.
Deep.
Just let that sink in. At 20 weeks gestation, the baby's not even a baby yet. It's not fully formed. But God, the Creator, has already put those sexual organs and all its working parts together, ready for her entire life. What does that tell you? These sexual organs and the discussion is important. It's important to us as a human race. It's important to whatever God you serve. And animals too. Like, this is not just, this is something that's going to happen. No.
You have to bring it to the forefront.
So,
100%.
yeah. So I read that and I thought, wow, how fascinating. Like, wow. So however you want to take that piece of information, take it, use it however you will, and let it just sink in that, if you're a woman going through periods and you're like, oh, damn, these periods every month. Thank these periods every month. There's some women who don't have them. I remember actually when one thing my mum did do, she did celebrate. We had a little, I don't know if we could call it a party, but she's like, wow, all my daughters have had their period. Because some women don't have them. Some women don't, they go through their lives and they don't produce eggs. And I remember she celebrated, and that's one massive positive takeaway that I will say it helped me to understand the beauty of my menstruation and all these, it's a beautiful thing. As much as it's painful, as much as it's emotional, as much as it's like, we can make jokes, it's it's fascinating, it's special. So, I'll try my best to communicate. And also, I this time I try to celebrate myself as well, because you know, when I feel like this, I'll, you know, get dolled up and do some self-care stuff just to improve my mood. For everyone else, really, and myself, obviously for myself to start with, but so that I'm not a gremlin to the rest of the house. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna say on that.
Okay, that's
Hi.
all. And
Hi,
we don't need that much.
We're in this together.
We just need just a little bit of a heads up, just so we can make your life easier. That's all. But you know, we'll figure it out. Conclusion is there's no conclusion. So thank you very much.
NSCDC.
That's all. Thank you very much. Like, subscribe, and take care of yourself.
And each other.
Get out of here, man.
Get out of here, man.
Get out of here, man. Shit, I'm saying.